in London where students are protesting for education, employment and empowerment as part of the NUS organised Demo 2012. This is the first mass demo organised by the NUS since 2010, and the march ended with the occupation of Millbank, violence and arrests.
The demo 2 years ago was so specifically around kind of, one actual key point. There was a vote happening, and it was like tuition fees were going to go up, and I think the reality is actually now some of the issues are more subtle, and they're not as, there isn't that kind of one big event that's happening, but the issues that we're talking about here are possibly more threatening and more scary in terms of the changes in higher education. I think generally it's just kind of a student pushback against radical changes in higher education which are not in the best interests of students or the society that they study in.
The NUS had been expecting around 10,000 people to demonstrate, but other estimates put the final figure at around 4,000. Those who did turn up were nevertheless enthusiastic and in good voice. The route started at the University of London Union, near Euston. It then went past Holborn before heading along the embankment.
I'm here because I think that we don't need the cuts because we just get taxes off the people who aren't paying taxes, specifically the rich.
Well, we're here because we deserve an education. It shouldn't be based upon how much money you have. Everyone's got an equal right.
I'm here to protest the current government and the decisions they've made that affect my future. I don't think they're the right decisions. I think they're the right decision for the ruling classes, and I think the working classes and the working people who are on an average wage, on an average income, are suffering at the expense of rich people, of people in power, and people who think that they're above the law.
Well, because education is a right. Fees have been hiked to £9,000 when politicians who hike those fees up paid nothing for their education. As you know, Britain has the worst social mobility out of all Western countries. There's simultaneous attacks on postgraduate and undergraduate study. Teaching is being slashed. And we need to defend international students as well. They're being used as cash cows at the moment.
As the march made its way towards Parliament Square, the mood remained relatively good-natured. However, when crowds began to stall outside the Houses of Parliament, events became more heated and some clashes began to develop between protesters and police. One student group formed a barricade, blocking people from continuing on their predetermined route.
We decided to stop outside Parliament because it is the politicians, the government, who we are petitioning. Therefore, it makes sense for us to protest outside of Parliament.
Activists did eventually move on towards Kennington Park, and as they did, a combination of bad weather and discontent meant numbers dwindled. Only around 400 protesters made it to the Demo 2012 endpoint. Many of those who did jeered NUS President Liam Burns. A handful stopped his speech short by taking to the stage. Here at Kennington Park, where the march ends, students behind me have been hearing talks from guest speakers. Compared to the demonstrations of 2010, this has been a relatively peaceful protest. Students will take further action on the 5th of December when George Osborne announces his autumn budget. This has been Kenny Wastell for Arts London News.